Welcome to Akulmet Business Channel, and my name is Kanchan. And this episode, we are discussing a topic regarding Indian currency. You must have seen Mahatma Gandhi's picture on Indian currency. Now, the question is, do we really need more heroes to be printed on Indian currency? To discuss this topic, we have a great industry leader, Mr. Sitesh Srivastava. So let's discuss and find out his views. Welcome to the show, Sitesh. How are you doing today?
Well, Kanchan, life is always good when we talk about money.
Definitely, and that's what I was thinking that you are so passionate about this topic, and that's why we are discussing.
Yeah, with Akul Mac Business Live channel, I believe that we all can become another Harvard Business Review one day.
Okay, well, there's a lot of controversy regarding the money, and there's a change of picture. But lately, I've heard that Reserve Bank of India has denied to replace any picture. Though on the other side of the note, they are already placing pictures of like Alora, if you find in rupee 20 rupee denomination, or the Humpy photo, which is again, I guess, in 50 rupees denomination. So why this topic actually has emerged?
Well, Kanchan, there was a very interesting song somewhere in 70s, Aina Wahi Rehta Hai, Chehre Badal Jate Hain. And this was sung by probably Lata ji. And I was just correlating it with our currency notes. Even from the 1950 onwards, when we had our currency notes in India, there was no face till almost like a 15-20 years. It was only the Ashoka pillar and rivers and the mountains of those days currency. Somewhere, I think, somewhere in 70s, it was Mahatma Gandhi's picture on the notes, and from 1996, actually it was on all the denominations, all currencies. But there has been a request or petition, or civil society has been asking, people have been saying India should be represented by some more celebrities or leaders as such. And recently there was, in 2016, if I remember correctly, there was a request for having Mr. Rabindranath Tagore or APJ Kalam's pictures. But this has only been like an ask and a request, but there has been no proposal as such. A month back, there was some news in certain newspapers about this, that RBI is thinking, and they have given some watermark pictures to Mr. Shahani, a professor emeritus of IIT Delhi. But those claims have been refuted. There is no consideration of it. But actually, that led me to thinking, is it really needed, first of all? Second thing is that I looked at the world currencies across, and there have been pictures of leaders, pictures of animals, which is kind of little surprising. But picture of leaders is something that has always put me into a thought that either a country is represented by the ethos of the person or the leadership or that particular leader, or there is something else. And where can it stop? Like in American currency, Kanchan, there are 16 presidents on the American dollars. What is your thought?
Well, this is quite a debatable subject, because when we talk about India, so India has a kind of ethos and the stories related to even money and the background, the culture. And I think notes will not be able to really represent all of them, but at least we can try. Now, when we are talking about Mahatma Gandhi, he is father of nation, and I really feel personally that we cannot replace our father of nation. But at the same time, we would also put across some of the great leaders who were involved in freedom struggle, like Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. I mean, that where we can put his picture maybe on the backside of the note. But then again, currently, if you see and if you carry any of the notes, there are some historical monuments which is being represented on the notes, and I think that is also a very good gesture of a thought process of Reserve Bank of India. But I will not deny that we have so many great leaders, and they should they should get a space in the currency. Why not? We should think on that, on those lines.
Yes, Kanchan. So, yeah, the 16 American presidents are there on American dollars. Some are $1. We have George Washington. $5. We have Abraham Lincoln, and then there are other presidents here near to our place. In Iran, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini is there on the currency of Iran, or Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, who is the founder of the Republic of Turkey and considered as the modern Turkey's father. He is there on the currency. In Pakistan, Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah is there. And not long ago, few decades back, Nepal's currency had got uh, the king's picture on that. And Elizabeth too, interestingly, not only is on the British pound and the currency note, and she is the longest serving monarch. She is also there on a British pound. She's there on Australian dollar. She's there on Canadian dollar. Japanese yen was very interesting. It used to have a picture of a novelist called Sosoki Natsune for 10 years. Then it changed to a famed bacteriologist, Noguchi Hideo, which is still can be seen on Japanese yen. In Chinese renminbi, yuan, the General Mao Zedong's picture is there. Interestingly, Kanchan, in the Swiss franc, there is a picture of Helvetica, which is not an actual person, but it is the personification of the country. Now, that is very interesting concept. How do you think about a country as a person and draw a picture of that person and put it on the currency? In fact, the Swiss franc is also known as a CHF. It's some Confederato Helvetica. It is named. It's a Helvetica is not a real person. If you see the Swedish krona, the King Carl Gustaf is there. New Zealand dollar, again, Queen Elizabeth is there. So more or less, what I feel is that in the current world, it is the America, USA, which has 16 leaders on currency. But in India, if we start thinking like that, probably Indian currency would become something like those commemorative stamps that were issued by the India Post on various leaders. Like in South Africa, it is Mandela, on all currency notes.
Well, actually, you have raised a quite interesting point. When we are talking about in Indian context, I feel not only the leaders or not only the freedom fighters, but the great kings should be getting a space in the currency. When we talk about Cholas and Chalukyas, I mean, Chola is a dynasty which ruled for the maximum years. When we talk about in the world, the dynastic rule, it was done by Cholas. A part of the area on which they ruled, it was also really very fascinating, because no king has ruled to that kind of vast geographical land, comprising from India and other Asian countries. So why not? I mean, this is quite a thought-provoking topic, and I think people should think about it, because currency does not only represent the money power, but it also represent the culture and heritage from where these people, I mean, especially India, they are coming from. So I think that representation
Well,
should be there.
yeah, I agree. But allow me to agree to disagree with you also a little bit, Kanchan, as we live in the technology world. You see, today in the plastic currency, there is no leader's picture. None of the credit cards, even the government kind of a credit cards, do not have pictures of any leaders. Well, we keep seeing a lot of advertisements on the credit cards itself, and whether it is a master or a card or a visa card or even a rupee, the Indian card, right? So the plastic money does not have a picture. Now let's see the cryptocurrency. What is the image that we have seen? Only the currency symbols there, not even a picture. Then in the electronic payment, there is no way to represent anybody's picture over there, right? It is all a barcode that we just point to the phone, right? So I think it is important to have on the paper currency or on our metal currency some of those images which may be related to some certain leaders who are understood in the length and breadth of the nation. And therefore, as I said, the best solution could be to bring out a limited edition currency like India Post,
Mhm.
a commemorative stamp on Mr. Ambedkar, a
Mhm.
commemorative currency note on Mr. Vajpayee, right? And I think that could be a collector's items, and that way every leader could be accommodated. And but the only thing is that this should be discussed across the diversity of the continent, the nation, and seen in perspective.
Well, when we talk about the nation, we have a diverse culture and diverse ethnicity also. At the same time, there's some traditions. But I will definitely agree with your point that there's no picture of plastic currency because I think people are not thinking about that. And there is a scope because when we see any credit card or debit card, you always find an abstract picture on that, maybe Pulse picture. So why not replace with the leaders' pictures? Why not replace with the great kings who has introduced Indianness to all around the world? So I think that is again a point which we can go a little further. And you also mentioned about the cryptocurrency. So when there can be a symbol of the money, crypto money, why can't we have a picture of our great leaders who have contributed so much, and for due to their work we are free and we are living so heading our towards progress. So why not? What do you think?
Well, Kanchan, plastic money, I understand. Okay, I would like to see some pictures and not just leaders. I keep thinking, since I have lived in Japan, keep thinking it is the leadership collective leadership of politicians, scientists, doctors, students, engineers, who all collectively make a nation. Okay, so for me, a leader is not just a political leader. So yes, on a plastic currency, I would like to see some of those leaders. At the same time, but the challenge with the crypto is that it is really cryptic, Kanchan. And I think none of the world leaders can claim to be cryptic about their people because they were very, very open, very, very transparent. And there was nothing cryptic about those big leaders, okay, who are, celebrated and respected across the planet, okay. And I think that is where crypto may not get a great icon as a face of it, but plastic currency, yes, of course. And I think that space of a plastic currency is important, where we can find some of the faces. And it is equally important in the Indian scenario to bring about the people who were part of the collective leadership from all walks of life and not just the political spectrum. And that is what is my sincere wish. And another thing, Kanchan, since we have given this idea now to bring people's faces on plastic currency and other places, I'm sure banks are running towards this idea. Let's go and charge them a royalty, Kanchan.
Well, you have raised a really a serious thing, because plastic currency, definitely they should have. We should have actually a picture of the contributors who has made our life easy, and that's why we are so proud of our culture and heritage. So this is quite a thought-provoking topic, and I would want our listeners and our viewers to really come with the comments and what really they think about this topic. And it is something which it should be debated and be debatable. And in the last, I just want to ask you on a personal level, what kind of a part of Mahatma Gandhi, which picture you want to see in coming future, at least for a new introduction of new notes, and what kind of denomination you are looking at for that particular person.
Well, Kanchan, I think in the modern India, there has to be a mix of leaders from every part of the society. And we have to have a good balance and mix of people who represent us on our currencies. I'm so proud that we have Draupadi Murmu as our president, the first tribal woman in this country. So Indian democracy throws up such surprises for the modern world. And therefore, for if you are asking me few names, Kanchan, I would suggest Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha, of course, Rabindranath Tagore, Mr. Kalam, Mr. Vajpayee, and there are many other, gentlemen who made this nation what it is. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, of course, Swami Vivekanand. Why are we not thinking about him? Dr. Rajendra Prasad, for that matter, Sachin Tendulkar, right? So I think there are people who need to go as part of the living legacy of modern India. And of course, Raja Chola and Ashoka the Great. Ashoka's emblem is already there. I think uh, there has to be a conscious and decision taken by the dignitaries of this country. And in the Amrit Mahotsav of 75 years of celebration from here till 2047, our 100 years, we should see commemorative currencies.
Well, I just want to add a few names more, because when we talk about India, and we have just forgotten our great rishis, because if we really look back, and we have rishis like Bhaskar Acharya, who was a great mathematician. And do you know that his books were translated into Persian, and then later it was translated into English, and that became the key factor in for the Renaissance in European countries. So these kind of people, or rishis we are ignoring like Aryabhat, or rishis we are ignoring like Dhruv, who has given metallurgy. So many rishis had contributed so much. Rishi Kapil, who has discussed about the philosophy of Indian philosophy, and how the cosmology he has described. So that these kind of people should also get a space in our currency, because their contribution cannot be ignored.
Agreed. Agreed. Like another famous song from Bollywood, Thoda hai, thode ki zarurat hai. And yes, let us make it a movement, Kanchan. Let's petition with RBI.
Yes, actually, look forward. I look forward for our viewers to add on few comments, and we will be great to know their opinion and what they say about this topic. And it's quite an interesting topic, Sitesh, today, and it's quite thought provoking also. So thanks for selecting this topic and letting other people to know about the need and how they can perceive and demand, or maybe create a stir and give us opinion. So Definitely, it's quite interesting discussion today.
Sure, Kanchan. If a plastic currency or a currency has got our former PM Lal Bahadur Shastri's picture, it will spend less.
Well, we will be meeting again with these kind of topics in our future episode. But today, I just want to say bye bye and see you again.
Thank you.
So we had an interesting discussion with Mr. Sitesh Srivastav regarding Indian currency, and I look forward for your comments and your opinion. And we'll be meeting again in next episode. Till then, bye bye and you take care.